Who knows where this is going to go? So look out. Here we go.
It is about damn time because, like, I don't know what was holding us back, I guess. I don't know why we couldn't have it before. And that's just super frustrating because a lot of us put a lot of time and money into softball because of how much we love it. And going through high school, middle school, and like seeing your classmates be able to be a part of this school sports team, and you're just like, I don't even have that opportunity. And seeing social media posts from other states that get to do that, like, it's like, why don't we have that opportunity? It's so frustrating. So then when they finally were, I was like, well, I mean, what took you so long? Like, why did it take this long? But it just feels so good to finally feel like my sport is part of the school, just like basketball is, just like soccer is. You know, there's so many other sports that are part of the school and ours have never been. So it makes me feel a lot more involved in the school than I really ever have before.
And there's something more pure and wholesome about playing for your high school when it's actually a sanctioned sport. I think once the season started and the girls were getting the publicity that they were getting, just added a whole new element to it. It was like, now we're like the other kids, we're like the other sports, we're getting noticed, and it felt different. And in Rapid City, the kids had to make a hard decision of whether they wanted to stay with their club team or if they wanted to come and play high school sanctioned softball. And some of the kids chose to stay with their club teams, and some of them chose to come and play with the high school team. And I think the ones that chose to ultimately play high school were super excited with the experience. The whole thing, it's just different than it ever used to be.
I was excited. I was definitely excited. I was a little bit nervous at first, but I was excited that knowing that I was a senior, I would be the first to play on a team that is sanctioned for our school. It was such like a letdown every time that we found out, oh, like we can't play because of the wind or the rain or the snow. But after, I think once we started like getting on the field, that's when it started feeling real to me. But just in the mall building, it was just kind of like an everyday practice kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, that facility is such a pain in the butt. We'd be practicing, we'd hit poles and stuff, they'd bounce back at us. Just the lighting in there is just horrible. And then we got outside, and when it got canceled because of the rain or the snow even, everyone would be like, oh, come on, like, we just want to be outside and play. So many games got canceled because of it. It's so annoying. It's Rapid City, I just wish it was like Florida sometimes. We actually started like all new. Like there was so many like younger classmen that never met the upperclassmen, and we all got to know each other really well and share like personal things between each other.
Really just silly games, stuff to make us laugh, and just nothing that's like too deep, but it's just something fun that we can do to have fun with some of the younger girls or each other that we haven't really played with before, which I think was a really good icebreaker too, just because it got all of us laughing and like into the mood to practice, or I don't know, be more comfortable with each other.
It was a headache, and going into it, I knew there was going to be, especially early on in the season, there was going to be a lot of things that we just can't control, and so you kind of just have to roll with it and try to find places and make the best of situations. So it was something that it was an experience, and I wouldn't say it was probably the least positive experience of the whole season, was just because of that. Starting out, but it was something that you knew that was going to be an issue. Living where we are, the weather is unpredictable. It's tough to play by Mother Nature's rules when we have to be outside in the spring.
I feel like in the indoor facilities, you feel so like claustrophobic because you're just in cages. You can't really do any fielding because there's nowhere to do it. You just got to hit. That's all really you have. And so when we finally had the space to be able to, like, for me to throw from third to first again, like, my first throw was horrible because I was like, oh, okay, I gotta, you know, get in the headspace to do this again. And it just was nice because we finally had space to be able to do what we needed to do to prepare for the games, because cages don't give that to you.
Here you go. All to your back.
Hits on 3.
1, 2, 3, hits! Hey, when I
All to your back, too.
do a back.
I was so excited the whole bus ride up to Pier. I was like, this is gonna be so great. Like, we're gonna do awesome. Like, we have these nice uniforms, and like, I was just so excited. I was like, it might be cold, but we're playing, so I'm not complaining. I was just really, I think we were all just super excited to finally get going, even though it was cold.
Seeing the excitement on the girls' faces, it was probably one of the highlights of the season, to be the first game in the state of South Dakota and then come out of it with a win. It was huge, and the excitement on the bus ride home, that was like the one time I'm happy to celebrate and and hear the noise on the bus ride home when it's just not just trying to relax.
It was exciting. I was finally excited to get on the field because we didn't even practice on the field yet because the weather was so crappy all the time. That was so exciting. I was so nervous, but when we won, I was like, okay, this season could go fine. Like, good to know. Like, I don't know what they gave us, like what's in the food at Central, but everyone is just so different. Oh my gosh, they're so weird. They are some of the weirdest girls I've ever met. Like, it really shows how different, like, our grade levels are. Because I've never really gotten super close. I'm always the mom of the group, so I get close with them, but these ones, they're just in your face. They tell you everything about, like, the drama in freshman year, everything. But they're some of the funniest kids I've ever met. Like, that's another thing with Central Bowl. I think it's made everyone, like, you're stuck with each other. You practice every day. You have to like each other. You have to become friends with each other. So it's kind of nice that they're kind of weird. I don't hate them.
She's the mom, and I say this with utmost respect, she has no shame. And she's the team spirit animal. It's something that I have so much respect for her, because it's just, she does her own thing, and it doesn't matter how she looks, and it's just, she's the morale booster in my opinion.
That's another thing that I talk about all the time, is people are taking it so serious, which, like, especially the seniors are taking it so serious, and like, you guys just need to lighten up, like, have fun, especially if this is your last time. Like, you don't want to think of just having a straight face all the time. So I'm always dancing on the field because I don't care. Like, there's no one I need to impress. Like, I'm just here to play my sport and have a good time.
Wait, how does that work? Yeah! I got that dog.
How would I describe our dugout? It took a turn this year. Early in the year, it was kind of quiet and reserved, and at the end of the year, it got a little crazy, but controlled crazy and fun. Those younger kids were just the spark of energy, for sure.
Mostly on varsity has always been like seniors and juniors, but now that we have such a big range, it's kind of fun. Really just silly games, stuff to make us laugh, and just nothing that's like too deep, but it's just something fun that we can do to have fun with some of the younger girls or each other that we haven't really played with before, which I think was a really good icebreaker too, just because it got all of us laughing and like into, I don't know, be more comfortable with each other.
We are one!
Being completely honest, it's fun to hang out with some of the younger girls, and like, they definitely have like different point of views on like the game or even school or like things outside school than I do, so it's kind of fun connecting with them and being friends with them. I feel so old as a senior that it's refreshing to have like little freshmen, I don't know, hanging out around us. I was excited. I was definitely excited. I was a little bit nervous at first, but I was excited that knowing that I was a senior, I would be the first to play on a team that is sanctioned for our school. It was such like a letdown every time that we found out, oh, like we can't play because of the wind or the rain or the snow. But I think once we started like getting on the field, that's when it started feeling real to me. But just in the mall building, it was just kind of like an everyday practice kind of thing.
Definitely a lot of mix of personalities in there, which made it so cool, because one person would be talking about something and then the others would fall into it, and then another group would start another conversation and there'd just be laughter all around. I personally really like sitting like behind it and just seeing like how good this group is, because our past, like we've had like good teams, but like this is like the less drama like that we've ever had, and it's super cool to have that.
Those young kids just stepped up and played right along with the older kids, and when it comes down to it with sanctioned sports, you know, you're going to put the best 9 kids on the field and hope to win every game you possibly can. And toward the end of the year, we didn't know necessarily if they were an 8th grader or if they were a senior. They're all kids that are playing the same game, right? Tia and Summer, both our seniors, have played within the Stevens High School program since they were probably 7th graders. So having them for 5 years and them being a part of our culture, then those expectations that we have on our players, it's easy for those younger kids to pick up because the older kids are already doing those things that we expect from them. This team was Team 1, right? And they are forever going to be the first 2 seniors that went through Stevens High School softball. You know, and those two kids working their way through our program as seventh graders and now being seniors, they worked their butt off to earn the position that they earned their senior year. And each one of them had the best season that they have ever had wearing a Stevens High School softball uniform.
It's like magenta and
in the beginning, we gave him so much crap because he wouldn't laugh at anything. I was like, you can have personality. It's allowed. Before our last home game, he looked at me and I go, you look like the kind of guy that used 4 and 1. And he goes, I am. And I was like, I was like, I knew it. He said, it's the bald head right there. And he's gotten funnier, like especially with us getting to go on trips. We're allowed to like give him crap and he just lets us do our thing, which I was nervous about, so I was like, are you up for the challenge? He was like, yeah. It's a good.
I knew going into it with my background and with my no experience coaching softball, I was going to have to listen, and being able to do that, I think that was a huge benefit for me. And working with these girls was an experience in itself. It was a fun group, energetic. I've never worked with a group that was not ashamed to make fun of me as much as they did, which was awesome, just because it allowed me to do the same back. And we all knew there was a time and a place, and we respected that and knew for a fact that if it wasn't the time or place, we shouldn't be doing it. The older girls were a big help when it came to practice, and it was great to see the younger girls kind of embrace it. You can see that they were trying to listen and doing their best. With my background and a lot of my terminology, I had to accommodate as well. And so to have the experience of those older girls, the seniors, it was a great thing that they were able to do that, and it showed they're willing to step in and be responsible for the team as well, be leaders.
I think we're both learning from each other. I'm not just learning from him, he's also learning from us girls who have played softball for 12 plus years, because he's never done that, but we also have plenty to learn from him. And so I think it's difficult, and I think that both the team and the coach has a lot to learn from each other. And I think that is something that Rodner has done a great job at doing, is listening to us. And we also just need to give him that same respect and listen to him when he's proposing an idea as well. I suspected that at the beginning of the year, that a couple of the girls who did quit just had a negative outlook on it from the beginning. But at the end of the day, it was their decision to leave the team and it was their decision to quit. And obviously they saw a reason to, or they wouldn't have. So I try my best to support their decision, because at the end of the day, that's what they thought was best for them, even though it is heartbreaking knowing that it feels like they just abandoned the team. But we can't let little things hold us back. So we can't let, someone quitting on us, we can't let that hold us back, and we can't just roll over and die because of it. Sometimes it just takes a team conversation that we're okay. It's fine. We can move on from this. We still, know what we're doing, and it's not, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal.
Throughout a season, whatever sport it is, you're always going to go through your ups and downs, and the resilience that our girls showed this year, I can't be appreciative enough of that. They did amazing. It was just something that I'm extremely proud to really represent and kind of lead and help lead, just to kind of bring that culture to Central Athletics, where it's like, just because one thing doesn't go your way, you're gonna make errors, you're gonna mess up, you're gonna strike out. It's a game that you have to be able to move on from those mistakes and deal with that adversity. And we had our fair share of adversity throughout our season, and the girls came back the next day and worked and competed, and it didn't slow them down at all. We stayed together, and as the season went along, we meshed really well. We came together as a team, we supported each other, and in my opinion, we came to a family kind of aspect.
I know that even if this first season isn't the greatest season that Central has, I know that in 5 or 10 years, when we all get our poop in a group, that we're gonna have a great program. I want girls in 5 or 10 years to have this opportunity and have this chance. And if no one would have played this league the first year, then they would have been like, well, this was a mistake. We don't even have a team. So I want girls in the future to have the same experience that I'm having and be able to be a part of their school in a sport way.
They were proud, and to be able to see that in their faces, you could see it in their faces just talking about it. It's something that I thought was pretty amazing at the time, and I still do think it's amazing, and it's something that hopefully they'll remember pretty much for the rest of their lives, that they could tell their kids that, hey, I was part of the first. It was a fun group to hang out with, even if they don't think I have the smile and the emotions on my face, I still enjoyed it 100%.
I feel like this is cringy, but it really is like a family. Like, you travel across the state with these people, you stay in hotel rooms with these girls. Like, they're more than just your friends and your teammates. Like, you really get to know each other, and you talk to each other and get to know each other at practices, games, overnights. Like, you just have so much bonding that it really is like a family, and that's not an understatement by any means when people say that.
Everyone makes it seem like Stevens and Central have to hate each other, but I'm actually, I hang out with most of those girls on the daily, and so with that, we talk about softball, we talk about how their team is doing things and how our team's doing things, or same with schools. Me and Summer, especially, we have played together for years. She's always and I've always been on their rivals teams because we were so close with games. So that was really fun, and I didn't even process that was our last game playing. After the game, I went up to her, I was like, that was our last game. And she was like, no, it's not. I was like, it is, because I'm not coming back. Like, this is it. And that was really, it was sad.
On the hop.
Run!
On the hop.
You're this side.
Just hurried up the balance.
They're totally different leaders. Summer was the quiet leader. She does everything right. I love Summer's servant leadership that she has. She's always there to do the little things. Whatever it is that I ask her to do, she will do it. And she will do it with a smile on her face, and she'll bring a friend with her to help. Tia's a little more of a vocal leader. She just leads it. She leads in a different way. I wish I could be more specific with you. Tia's a little bit more, has a little bit more of an edge to her. She's a little bit more cocky, if you will.
Number 5, Tia Giese.
I've played for Sherry for years and years, and our parents go way back and everything. But she's definitely a hard ass, but I love her for it because that's what makes you better. You know, you need a coach to push you, you need a coach for that. But when it comes down to it, you know, she's always reminding us how much she loves us and how much she cares about us, and it really shows because she'll even goof around with us sometimes. I remember in the dugout the other night, she was putting on the sunglasses and the hat, and she was just messing around with us, and we're all just laughing. But I love having her as a coach because when it really comes down to it, she's the one that gets us excited to play. She's the one that puts us in line. She's the one that really pushes us to be better. And I'm glad that I got to be the first of this, but it's also sad because it is my last season. But I think me and Summer can both agree that being seniors, it's a little bit stressful sometimes because we're required to be a leader, even though if we don't want to be or not, which can be stressful. But I like this team so much that it's never really that hard to be stressed out with, I guess, if that makes sense. It's just so much fun, and everybody gets along great to where it's bittersweet. I wish I had another season, but of course, since this is the end, I'm glad that I got to be part of the sanctioned team before I graduated. It's emotional, definitely. It's exciting though. I'm super excited for the next chapter in my life, and I've been waiting for this since I was a freshman. I've been wanting to be done with high school since I was a freshman. But now that it's here, it's pretty sad. It's but sad in a good way.
I thank them for coming out. I haven't necessarily played with them personally in previous years, but I have gotten to know them all in previous years. So, I mean, they're great girls to be around. They're great girls to play with, and so I'm really glad that they came out and tried this year.
Come on, Holly. Come on, Holly. That away! Take it up, lady.
Pick it up. Don't be so bad.
I want to see a lot of more girls. I want to have a lot more teams because in past years with Stevens, we had 2 freshman team, a sophomore team, a junior team, and a varsity. I think some girls might have been nervous or not sure how well it would have gone or how the teams would have been. At first I've heard of a lot of doubt of, they might not be that good because it's the first year, it's the first season. I think there was doubt behind it, but that didn't stop me or any of the other girls that are on the field right now. And I think this is a fun sport and a great opportunity, and it's fun to travel, it's fun to play, and the coaches are great. So I think that it'd be, I don't know, I would really like to see more girls have fun.
People early on, before the season started, asked me, how do you think you guys would end up during the season? And I said I really don't know, because the competitiveness across the state as a whole is fantastic at the high school level. especially in those upper, 10 to 12 teams. There's some really good ball players out there for sure.
This year it was definitely like I said, like a building block. Like it's our like stepping point for everybody, and everybody's gonna notice it and be like, wow, like softball, like it's sanctioned now, and it's like becoming a big deal for everybody. So hopefully some girls will see that. Yeah, we might not have made it to state and got to be like one of the first teams to go to state in sanctioned history, but we definitely made a first like highlight for sanctioned softball for Stevens, and it was just really cool to all of us to come together and get to share that experience with each other.